Neo and Jiho Part 7. Today's greetings goes out to Anna Makoa from South Africa and Nicola Bennett from Jamaica. His world had narrowed to this one possibility. He felt a strange mix of panic and curiosity, guilt and intrigue. If Neo recognized him too, what did she think of him now? His breath caught as Neo began walking toward the restroom, her steps composed, her expression unreadable. Impulsively, Minjun stood and followed, not fast, just enough to close the gap without drawing attention. He didn't know exactly what he'd say, but he had to know. Outside the restroom, in the quiet corridor, he caught up to her. "Excuse me," he said softly, almost nervously. "I'm Minjun Park." Neo stopped. The name hit her like thunder. Her heart skipped and her throat tightened. She turned slowly, keeping her face neutral. Inside, emotions swirled. Surprise, discomfort, even a hint of panic. But she didn't want to show weakness. "Yes?" she replied calmly. Minjun leaned in slightly. "Have we met before? You seem familiar?" Neo blinked, forcing a polite smile. The air between them felt thick. Minjun's eyes searched hers, trying to confirm the connection. "Did you ever—" He hesitated. "Date online?" Neo looked away just for a second. Neo felt a wave of panic wash over her. Could this guy really be Minjun? No, it couldn't be. His profile showed someone younger, and that Minjun dude wasn't even wearing glasses. It felt unreal, and she was on the verge of collapsing. Her thoughts were racing, and she felt dizzy, as if the ground might just swallow her whole. She tried to rein in her chaotic thoughts, urging herself to just say no and walk away. That inner voice became more insistent, and when Minjun took a step toward her, she blurted out, "No, I don't know you." Minjun's confidence wavered. Her tone was steady, almost dismissive. He couldn't tell if she was telling the truth or protecting it. He reached into his pocket and offered his card, fumbling to keep his composure. "Just in case," he murmured. Neo didn't take it. She gave a polite nod and walked past him, heart racing, thoughts swirling. She had escaped the moment, but the tension stayed behind, wrapped around Minjun like a cold breeze. Neo's heels clicked gently on the marble floor as she walked away from Minjun, her expression calm, almost serene. But inside, her thoughts spun like a carousel in motion. She had handled the moment well. No shaky voice, no lingering stare, but her chest felt tight. The idea that Jiho might find out the truth, that Minjun might press further, made her heart stutter with unease. She focused on breathing steadily, searching the room with her eyes until they landed on Jiho. Jiho was speaking with Insu, laughing quietly, unaware of the small storm Neo had just weathered alone. Seeing his relaxed posture, his easy smile, it grounded her. She walked back toward him with purpose, her chin slightly lifted. As she neared, his eyes found hers instantly, softening with warmth. He reached for her hand without a word, and she slid into the space beside him as if it had been made for her. But the calm didn't last. Yura, unable to hold herself back, approached like a shadow emerging from behind a curtain. Her lips were curved into something like a smile, but her eyes betrayed her. It was a mix of burning curiosity and thinly veiled resentment. "Jiho," she began, voice light but strained. "Who is your guest?" The group turned slightly. Jiho paused, measuring his words. He glanced at Neo briefly, then back at Yura. "She's a new person in my life," he said plainly, yet with weight. "Her name is Neo." Yura blinked, taken aback. "Where are you from?" she asked, her tone sharper now. It wasn't really a question. It was a challenge. Neo hesitated. Her mind raced. She felt the pressure of eyes, the weight of scrutiny hanging around her like invisible chains. Just as she parted her lips to respond, Insu stepped in, voice steady. "Yura, respect the occasion." The words cut through the tension like a gentle breeze in thick heat. Yura's mouth tightened. Her eyes flitted toward Insu and then back to Neo, narrowing with visible anger. Jiho moved slightly closer to Neo, his presence almost protective. In that moment, everything seemed to tilt. Colleagues nearby exchanged glances. Some snickered under their breath. Those who had felt slighted by Yura in the past were savoring this. A rare moment where she was not in control. Her posture stiffened. She felt the sting of public embarrassment creeping across her skin. Suddenly, her fiancé appeared at her side, greeting the group with careful courtesy, sensing the mood. After a brief exchange, he led her away from the group. But the damage had been done. Her face was tight with frustration, her hands clenched by her sides as they walked. Back at their table, her fiancé leaned in, voice low but heated. "How disrespectful can you be? This is our occasion. Why are you still speaking to him?" Yura's lips trembled. She opened her mouth. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I was just curious." But her fiancé's expression darkened. His jaw set. He looked away, the silence between them louder than any reprimand. Across the room, Jiho glanced at Neo. He could sense that she needed air, needed light. He leaned close and whispered, "Let's leave." Together they exited the hall, passing whispers, passing stares, but untouched by any of them. When Yura saw Neo and Jiho leaving, she quickly pulled back her actions. She had intended to spite him by inviting him to her engagement. After all, she had cheated on him with her fiancé. As Yura's fiancé witnessed her emotional breakdown, it shattered her ego. People around them watched in real time, captivated by the unfolding drama. Insu stayed behind, observing the scene, while Minjun approached his sister, urging her not to lose control. Deep down, Yura had hoped that Jiho still loved her, but seeing him with another woman struck her like a knife through the heart. The photos circulated on social media, amplifying the situation. Yura's fiancé took to the microphone, addressing all the guests. With a heavy heart, he apologized and shockingly announced that the engagement was off. He removed the ring, leaving everyone in disbelief. In the end, everything crumbled for Yura. Insu sent a message to Jiho, but his phone was off, and they had already driven away. Neo slid into the seat beside Jiho, her thoughts still lingering on everything that had unfolded. Jiho, sensing her silence, reached for her hand. His touch was firm and reassuring. "I thought we could end the evening with something a little more. Us," he said, a faint smile pulling at his lips. The car wove through the city lights, leaving behind the glimmering chaos of the party. Neo looked out at the glowing skyline, Korea's heart pulsing with energy, but her own heart felt still, held gently in Jiho's care. Eventually, they arrived at a cozy, warmly lit restaurant tucked into a quiet corner of the city. The kind of place that didn't boast luxury, but wore charm like a beloved sweater. The sign above the door was hand-carved, simple, but elegant. As they stepped inside, a soft aroma of spices and slow-cooked warmth wrapped around them. Neo's eyes widened as the waiter led them to a candle-lit table near the window. "Jiho," she whispered, "this is beautiful." He smiled, satisfied by her reaction. "There's more," he said with a spark in his voice. The waiter arrived with 2 steaming bowls, the scent hitting Neo instantly. Rich beef stew, slowly simmered with ground nuts and tender vegetables. Jiho had asked the kitchen to prepare a dish inspired by Botswana's popular meals. He'd remembered from their talk the night before, when Neo had spoken fondly about home, about the comfort of meals that took hours to prepare and minutes to finish. In the center of the table was another plate, Guinness fish stew, deep and fragrant, layered with bold flavors and seasoned with care. Neo stared at the food, her eyes glistening. It wasn't just about taste, it was about being seen, about someone listening so deeply that even her passing words became gestures of love. "I didn't expect this," Neo murmured, her voice soft. Jiho reached out, brushing his thumb across her knuckles. They returned home late night. Jiho unlocked the door and held it open. Neo stepped in first, exhaling slowly as if releasing the last bit of pressure from the night. The house greeted them with silence, deep, comforting silence that wrapped around them like a familiar blanket. They stood there for a few seconds longer, in that quiet space where something wanted to be said but wasn't yet ready to come out. Then Neo nodded. "I think I'll head upstairs. Freshen up." Jiho gave a small nod. Of course. Neo ascended the staircase slowly, her bare feet making no sound on the steps. As soon as she entered her room, she closed the door softly behind her and leaned back against it. Her hands went to the clasp of her necklace, the one Jiho had fastened with such tenderness earlier, and she exhaled. The moment she unzipped her dress and stepped out of it, a wave of relief swept over her body. She walked to the vanity, pulling the pins out of her hair, letting the waves fall around her shoulders. Then her phone buzzed. Neo glanced down. 15 missed messages, all from Tumi. Her heart tightened. She grabbed the phone and tapped the screen. Just before she could hit the call button, another message popped up. "Neo, call me right now, please." She pressed call. The line barely rang. "Neo!" Tumi's voice exploded through the speaker. "Where have you been? I've been losing my mind." "I'm sorry, Neo started. "Number, don't talk. Just tell me you're okay." Neo chuckled softly, the sound breaking the tension. "I'm okay, Tooms. I promise. Something happened tonight." There was a pause. "Minjun. He was there and I couldn't believe my eyes. He is old." He wasn't the guy I had chatted with. "Remember, we used to call on phone but not video. No wonder he didn't want video call." Tumi laughed. Too loud that Neo ended up laughing too. "Minjun? The guy from the dating app?" Tumi sounded instantly alert. "I will tell you the rest tomorrow, Tumi. My thoughts need to calm down." "All right, lovely. Sleep well." "Wait, what? That's creepy." "It was him, Tumi. But older. Like the photos were from years ago." "Catfish?" Neo shook her head. "It's worse. He said he's Yura's brother, Jiho's ex-girlfriend's brother." Silence. Then Tumi said, "This is getting messier by the second." He insisted we had been talking online. I told him I wasn't the girl he thought I was. I denied everything. I had to. I panicked. "Neo, are you okay?" "I don't know. It shook me." But the night went on. I couldn't tell Jiho. Not now. Not yet. "You need to tell Jiho." "I can't. Not now." "Why not?" "Because I like him. I really like him, and I don't want to ruin what just started." "Neo, don't begin something real with lies, even by omission." Neo turned away from the window. Her reflection stared back at her from the glass. "I know, but it's too soon. Soon or not, the truth has a funny way of showing up when you least expect it." Neo nodded slowly. "I'll think about it."